Hi students, it's me Nithin Mathew who will be teaching English for grade 3. So the topic for today is subject and verb agreement. The aim of our lesson is to identify the subject and predicate in a sentence and use verbs in agreement with the subject. The keywords we will be dealing today are subject, predicate and verb. Dear students, you can see a picture here in the slide. You can see a picture here in the slide with few words. As you read the words, tell me whether those words make sense to you. No. No is your answer. It doesn't make sense because you can see few words only there, like red dragon kite, you, she and they. So these words are called subjects. Now look at this picture. You can see two flags here and tell me whether it makes a sense to you, whether it makes sense to you as you add the subject and the other part of the sentence. So here you can see I'm going to read out red dragon kite flies towards Sippy. Does it make sense to you? Yes, it is a complete sentence and it makes sense to you, right? Very good. Now second sentence, you look beautiful. That also makes sense because it is a complete sentence. Now coming to all the sentences, you can see here there are some red color words which are already I told which are called as subjects. Now my question is, can we make a sentence by joining two subjects? For example, if I add you and she, can I make two sentences? No, your answer is no. That is correct. Now subject is the naming part of the sentence and they can be noun or pronoun. Joining subjects doesn't make sense as it doesn't say anything about the subject. What we need is another sentence which tells about the subject. So with the subject, you need another part of sentence. What are they called? Yes, they are called as predicate. They are called as predicate. With the subject, you will find another part of sentence. They are called as predicate. Now note that a predicate always contains a verb. A predicate always contains a verb. Very good. Now look at these sentences. I bring chocolates. We bring chocolates. Amit brings chocolates. He brings chocolates. Now can we say that these sentences are correct or these sentences are complete sentence? Yes, it makes sense to you, right? As you read each sentence, it makes sense to you. So these are called as complete sentence. Now when the two parts of the sentence are read, it must make sense. That means the subject part and the predicate part, as we read it, it must make sense. Then we can call it as a complete sentence. So if the subject is the naming word for one, the verb has yes or es. So when the subject is the naming word for one, we add with verb yes or es. For example, he brings. So you can see, since the subject is the naming word for one, we added with the verb that is bring, we added yes or es. So we added here yes. So he brings. Now coming to the next part, if the subject is the naming word for many, the verb has no s or es. Did you understand? If the subject is the naming word for many, the verb has no s or es. So when the subject is the naming word for one, there is s or es with verb. When the subject is the naming word for many, the verb has no s or es. Remember that. Now for example, they bring. You can see the subject is the naming word for many. So with verb we didn't add s or es. Did you understand? Yes, you understood. Very good. Now look at these words like each, everyone, anybody, anyone, someone and nobody. With these naming words, we add when these naming words are placed with verb, we add with the verb s or es. That is the rule here. Each, everyone, anybody, anyone, someone, nobody are naming word for one, because they are mentioning about one. Since they are mentioning about one, we add with the verb yes or es. Now, for example, nobody knows me here. So, as we said, we have used the word or naming word nobody here. With that, we have added the verb, that is know. We also added yes with the word no, that is verb, because this word is talking about only one. Now, dear students, we were dealing with subjects, predicates, and we were also dealing with where to use s or es, or where to avoid or ignore s or es. So we learned all these part of subjects. We know what is predicates. We also know how to use s or es. We have to use s or es when the naming word is mentioned as one. When the naming word is mentioned as many, we don't use s or es. So I hope you understood, and I feel that this lesson was useful and informative. Thank you so much, and see you. Bye bye.